Good to go. Good evening and welcome to the Morrison County Board of Adjustment public hearing for October 28, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I have a few items to cover. Before we get started, please sign in at the door if you have not already done so. There you'll also find a detailed handout of the step-by-step procedure we will follow tonight if you wish to take one. Please put any electronics devices on silent mode at this time. Also, please note that all testimony is being recorded for the record. Members of the Board of Adjustment are appointed by the County Board of Commissioners with a member from each of the 5 commissioner districts. Land Services staff is here to assist the Board of Adjustments with its duties. The task of the board is to consider requests for variances and appeals from an order, requirement, or decision made by a county zoning official in accordance with the state law and county ordinance. Each request is considered on its own merit. The burden of proving a practical difficulty rests with the applicant. If a variance is granted, it's granted to the land, not to the landowner. There's a protocol for how we will proceed tonight. Each variance request on the agenda will hear a staff report, testimony from the applicants, and the board will discuss and gather more information as needed. Next, I'll ask if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the request. I'll ask each party to go up to that podium, state their name and address for the record, and give their testimony. Please be as factual as possible and direct all statements and questions to me. After the testimony is complete, I will close the public hearing portion of the process. The board will then review and discuss the case in terms of our finding of fact criteria, as required by Minnesota statute and county ordinance. We'll have a series of votes, discuss whether conditions be made, and have a final motion to approve or deny the request based on those findings. After this final vote on your request, you may leave if you wish. And we have one agenda item tonight. Haston Warrenberg, 19152 205th Avenue, Little Falls, variance to construct a poultry barn within the setback to the property line. Mr. Warrenberg, if you could come up here and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Haston C. Warrenberg. Would you like the barn address or my current residential address?
Just your address.
20637 193rd Street, Little Falls.
Thank you. Miss Amy, staff report.
Mr. Chair, this is a variance request to establish a Tier 2 feedlot within setback to a property line. The ordinance section that applies is 1209.1, and that requires a 200-foot setback from property lines. Here is an aerial photograph of the property outlined in blue and yellow. And then here's a site drawing provided by the applicant. And then here are some site photos taken at the viewing on the 24th of October. This property is made up of 3 parcels for a total of 75 acres, and a Tier 1 chicken feedlot exists. The applicant proposes the establishment of a Tier 2 poultry feedlot on this site by constructing a second chicken barn south of the existing barn. A 200-foot setback is required from property lines. The applicant requests a variance to construct the second barn 170 feet from the south property line, which is a 30-foot encroachment. The applicant cites issues with meeting the setback requirements from the well for the placement of the barn within the setback of the property line. If this variance is approved, the applicant will pursue a conditional use permit, and the details of manure management, among other aspects, will be addressed. And then here are criteria questions, Mr. Chair. And then I'll just note that in the staff report, he had identified 190 feet, but then at the viewing, he had said 170. So I've corrected that in the staff report here.
Thank you.
That's all I've got, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Miss Amy. Anything to add or revise to that?
No, sir.
Good to go? Okay. Site visit. So who was out there on October 24th? Clint? Brent?
All of us but you.
Perfect. All but me. Got it. Okay, I'm going to open up to the board here for questions, comments on the application.
Mr. Chair,
Brent?
For the applicant, maybe you can just explain to us the importance of this well on the site visit. You talked about that well, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but producing something like 20 gallons a minute, and another well that you have at a residence a short distance away only producing maybe 8
Correct.
gallons a minute. So just for the board's sake, explain to us the importance of that well and preserving that well, because that well is kind of the basis for your application for the variance.
Correct. Pilgrims requires to have, I believe it's a 15 gallon a minute minimum for a poultry barn. And where I am located, it's in a granite area, it's very difficult to find water to get through the granite. Where I am located with my barn well, I'm 35 feet deep with 25 plus gallons a minute. And straight north of that is my house well, which is 78 feet, and that gets 8 gallons a minute, and it's terrible water compared to the barn. With trying to drill a new well would be difficult. I did punch one previous hole prior to the well that is there, north side of the barn. It got down to about 77 feet and hit granite, and the well driller would not go any farther. Hence, that's why we moved south, because the driller wanted to try south, because there was a swale in the field where he thought would be a good idea to drill a well, and that's where he set up and drilled and found water at 35 feet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brent.
Mr. Chair?
Clint?
So Hasten, I think in your application here, I read somewhere your neighboring property to south, them trees and stuff are in that RIM program.
That is correct.
Okay, do you know how much of that is? Is it just them trees, or does it go farther south into the property? Do you have any idea what that is? Or?
So there's 2 parcels south of my property line, which would be Swedeen's and Martinson's, that are not in that. I believe the other, I think it was a 160, and I think there's 20 or 30 acres taken out of that. So the other 130, I do believe, or 120, I don't even know exactly for sure,
Yep.
is in that
And
RIM
that's
program.
all closest to you?
Correct.
Yep, okay, perfect. So then you're not able to build on that anyways?
I believe there's one buildable
One
site.
buildable site, yeah.
In that RIM program,
Yep,
but I'm not
Okay.
100% sure.
okay. All right. I think that's all I had for right now.
Mr. Chair,
Marv? Thank you, Clint.
when we were at the site visit, I had mentioned to you about chatting with the neighbor, or a letter, or remarks. Did you get a chance to do that? And-
I have not. I've
Okay.
spoken with them previously before I even started this process. I made contact with them, had mentioned that I was thinking about possibly building a second barn. And at that time, I didn't get any pushback from anyone. So I haven't spoken with them since then.
Okay, because part of the way I feel about this, you're infringing on their property, but being it's in a RIM, more than likely, nothing's going to be a problem. And typically, when you don't hear anything, they have no problem with it. But it would have been great to have a letter or one of them remarking back or calling Amy. So thank you.
Miss Amy, did you get a response to the letter you sent out? That you sent out with all these?
Mr. Chair, we sent out 20 notices to everyone within a half-mile radius of the property, and I did not receive any comment.
Okay. Perfect. Anybody else?
I'll just, Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Clint.
just for some of this, because otherwise if we answer the question 1 is one of the biggest things I think here. So I'm gonna just discuss that a little bit so we don't have to do it when we're answering the questions. So when we look at this season, we have a 200-foot setback on the property line, and I believe the reason that is put in place is to protect, the surrounding properties. We gotta have a certain distance, so we know that, okay? 200 feet's what came up, that's what the rule is. We look at this particular property, I think with that, even just the trees to the south, I think that helps buffer so much more. So I think that helps mitigate some of the distance, where maybe for this property, maybe 200 is feasible, maybe 150 is feasible, maybe 100. I'm not sure. The other thing that I look at is, there isn't a house there, and if this would go through, you still got to be 660 feet away. If the neighboring property wanted to build on that. But being in the REM program, that helps with that a little bit. I think the biggest thing when I look at this is if we're going to give some mitigation to going to shorten up that property setback. I think the biggest thing here that maybe is in favor of the applicant is that tree, that wood line, and that buffer. I think that don't really affect. I think the ordinance is to protect the sanctity and having neighbors get along and not infringe on that. And I think this really helps with that. So that's just my biggest thing is trying to see when we look through and answer these questions. I think number one's one of the more difficult ones. And when I look at what I'm just stating, that helps me answer that in affirmative. So I just thought I'd maybe talk through that just a little bit. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Clint. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair,
Brent?
when we were out there on the site visit, we talked a little bit about the buffer around the barn. It's very obvious. I'll just make a point. When you look to the south, that tree line down there, that's a tree line of pines 30-plus feet the entire length of this. So there's a great buffer there. You can see it in that photo that Amy's got pulled up. You had talked about, I think, using the existing driveway, is that correct?
Correct.
And then it would come in, and then you'd make the operations drive around the barns
Correct.
with that grass buffer. And then this would go back, what's in corn now would go back into hayland?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Anybody else? Okay, let's open this up to the public. Anybody in the public wishing to speak to this application, please go up to the podium and state your name and facts for the record. Any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we will close this portion of the meeting to the public and move on to the finding of fact criteria questions. Unless somebody has a question or comment before we do that. Question 1 to you, George. Is the request in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the Morrison County Land Use Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan?
Yes, I believe so. The area is zoned ag. Already one barn exists at this location. Encroachment on the property is a pine grove. It's a 30-foot encroachment. And I think with the pine grove there, that's very good for this application. There's very little elevation change on the site, and a second stacking slab is to be constructed for manure management. So yes, it does fall into that land use ordinance.
Thank you, George. Question 2, is the applicant proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the land use ordinance? Clint?
Yes, it's ag. He's already got a poultry barn there. He's looking to add another one. I think there's adequate land, adequate space around there as far as the neighborhood. Things seem to be a little more spread out in that area. That's kind of a good thing, I think. So there's a lot less problems between neighbors and things like that. So I think this is a good site for that. With having a lot of the granite that's in there and his willingness to try, he thought hard about when we were at the site visit talking about maybe abandoning that well, trying to drill one, and it's just hard to give that up. He already has to probably drill another one for the second barn, so it'd be a real, he's just trying to use the land he has and kind of make the best out of what situation is there. So I would say that, yes, he's using his land in a reasonable manner.
Thank you, Clint. Okay, question 3, will the issuance of the variance maintain the essential character of the locality? And I'll take that one. Clint mentioned how spaced and spread out it is there already. You have that tree line buffer. You already have another barn there. And then obviously 20 notices went out and not a single comment came back against anything that you're looking to, or proposing at this point in time, and it fits right in with all the other ag zoned area buildings that are in that place. So question 3 would be a yes for me. Okay, question 4, is the alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property? Marv?
I believe it is, as it was stated earlier, Pilgrim's Pride wants a minimum of 15 gallons per minute of water, and it's rather difficult with the granite ledge to find adequate water there. The well he has is providing 20-some gallons per minute, and it was hard to find that. And so, with that being said, he doesn't have much choice to do. So it's unique to have that few amount of gallons per minute in that area. So, yeah, the well creates the practical difficulty.
Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Marv. Clint?
I'd agree with Marvin. I'd just like clarify one thing for the record is, when we talk about the well, it isn't that he can't get water. There's plenty of water there. It's just hard to get to because of the shelf. Just the verbiage, just so it's on the record, that it isn't like that area doesn't have water. It's just hard to access it.
Thank you, Clint.
Clarifying that.
Question 5, is the need for the variance created by actions other than the landowner or prior landowners? Brent?
I think we're back to the issue of the well here for what's creating this. So a couple things. The granite ledge shelf that we have underground determines where you're going to get water and whether it's going to be a 40-foot well or a 170-foot well and how many gallons a minute you're going to get. That's not created by the landowner. He's got a well that produces 20 gallons a minute. He has to build a certain size barn, which isn't determined by him, it's determined by Pilgrim's Pride. Department of Health regulates the wells, and the setback to those wells for a structure to be built is 50 feet, which then forces this building to be moved over, which is why he's requesting a variance of that 30, math, 30 feet, right? Okay, I want to make sure I was right there. So all of those things kind of come into play here. So I think there are, the need for this variance is created by other actions than just the landowner and the prior landowners.
Thank you, Brent. Question 6, does the alleged practical difficulty involve more than just economic considerations? George?
Yes, I believe so. While economic considerations always play a part in ag, water for the proposed feedlot is essential, and it's not always a given in this locality. He could drill another well and come up with nothing. He's got a known quantity right here now, so I believe it is more than just economic considerations.
Thank you, George. Okay. After going through those, we're going to move to the vote for each of these questions.
Mr. Chair, did we have any conditions on this one?
Mr. Chair, we have not recommended any.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. I just wanted to check. So.
Yep. Okay. Question 1, is the request in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the Morrison County Land Use Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan? George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
Question 2, is the applicant proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by land use ordinance? Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Question 3, will the issuance of the variance maintain the essential character of the locality? John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
Is the alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property? Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Question 5, is the need for the variance created by actions other than the landowner or prior landowners? Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Question 6, does the alleged practical difficulty involve more than just economic considerations? George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
Of all 6 questions answered to the affirmative, is there a motion to approve this application for this variance?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make that motion to approve this variance.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion was made by Marv and seconded by Clint to approve the variance as requested. All in favor, say aye. Brent?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Marv? Clint?
Aye.
John is aye. The motion carries to approve the variance as requested.
Thank you, Board.
Please work with Land Services for any questions and moving ahead.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. New or old business?
Mr. Chair, I don't have either.
Okay. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah, I should think of something, though. We gotta waste a couple minutes here.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Minutes approved. There's only one thing left. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second. I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
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 I didn't say it yet.
Aye.